Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kenneth, and if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe so that you know when there are new videos coming out. So today we are having a little chat about nutrition in terms of blood tests. So when I had been vegan for around 6 months, I decided to get a blood test just because a lot of people talk about the nutritional value of being vegan, or if it's not healthy or if it is healthy. So I just wanted to have a little reality check for myself so I know what I'm doing and so that I could prevent further deficiencies, you could say. So you all know that I really advocate a plant-based diet, and I feel like I thrive on it, and I have never felt more energized than I do now. And obviously because I am vegan myself, that is something I would encourage people to do. But with that said, I am just talking about my own experience based on how I have found my time as a vegan, really. 6 months after going vegan, I had a blood test, and I have it here, and I am going to go through it with you. So, just pointing out that I did this in Norway, so it will be in Norwegian, and there are lots of numbers and stuff, but I am only going to talk about some of these areas, because some of them are totally fine and we don't really need to chat about them. If you do have any questions after you've watched this video, please just ask them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability, because this is in Norwegian. If you see this area here, this is what you should have, or where you should be in terms of all these different nutrients. And this is where I was by that time, 6 months after going vegan. So this was, well, that's the date. So this was in 2017, so it's almost a year since I did this test, which means it's time for me to do it again, just to see if I have managed to fix up the few, what should I call them, flaws that I discovered. So, first of all, I want to have a chat about B12. So if you are vegan or are thinking about going vegan and you've done your research, you know that B12 is probably, well, not probably, it is the hardest part of being vegan, because you can't find it in the soil, which in some ways is actually a lie, because naturally you would find it in the soil. It's just because of the industry and the way that we've kept working on the soil, obviously because of farming and agriculture. That is why the B12 has slowly been taken out from the soil, just because of the high level of processing, really. But anyway, you would normally find it in fortified milks and yogurts. There's lots of it in nutritional yeast, and in fact I realised there's a bit of it in my chlorella powder. And if you don't know, chlorella is an algae, so I normally use that in smoothies. But yeah, as a vegan you normally get that from fortified foods. And as you can see here, I am just over the limit of where you are supposed to be. So I was recommended to take supplements of this and then do a new test later on to see how I'm doing. So after I realised this, I started eating a lot more nutritional yeast, and I've really upped my game in yogurt, because I love yogurt, and if it gives me B12 I'm going to eat it. And actually if you eat bread, you know I don't eat bread really, but lots of bread actually have B12 as well. Just make sure that what you buy, especially if you buy a vegan milk, make sure it has B12. in it. I don't really buy milk that doesn't have B12 because that's one of the main reasons I buy milk. That's vegan milk, of course. So that's the B12. And then I was told that I was a bit low in my blood percentage. My blood percentage was a bit low. And I was told this is probably because at that point, I had just changed my diet and my body was adapting, and me personally, I had to also get to know what kind of foods I should eat. So after that, I started focusing a bit more on iron, not really because I saw it as a problem. As you can see, I was just 0.4 under, so it wasn't a huge problem, but I just became a bit more aware of it. And my doctor also said that if I get a grasp on the B12 and the vitamin D, which is what I'm going to talk about later, this would probably be fine. So then it's on to the vitamin D, and that is actually not on this sheet because I got this one and then separately I got the vitamin D test because that happened later. But basically I was a bit low in vitamin D as well, is what my doctor told me. And to be fair, I wasn't very shocked about this anyway, because as you know, I'm a dancer and I spend a lot of time in the dance studio, so I am inside all the time, and you get your biggest source of vitamin D is the sun, and I never see the sun, so I was not really shocked about that. Hence my pale skin. Anyway, so then I also got a vitamin D supplement, and I took that every day for, I don't remember how long, but it wasn't too long. So I started taking vitamin D, and then I also researched where I could get more vitamin D in my diet. And vitamin D is also one of those hard things to get in your diet. And even if you are vegan or not, you are actually recommended taking a vitamin D supplement, especially during the winter months, because there's no sun. So I then started to, when there is sun, I try to get a bit of it, and then I started eating more mushrooms as well, because apparently mushrooms can have, it's not a high amount of it, but it can have a bit of vitamin D content in it, because apparently mushrooms absorb the vitamin D from the sun just as you would, and then they store it inside the mushroom. So that's what I did. That was the three things that I was told was kind of something to be aware of. They told me it wasn't a big problem, it's just something I had to think about. And to everyone wondering if a vegan diet is healthy or not, because I get a lot of people approaching me saying I will, or if they weren't vegan, they would be deficient in a lot of nutrients. And as we can see here, yes, I was a bit deficient or about to be deficient in a couple of areas. But what people don't think about is that, I'm generalizing now, but the majority of vegans are naturally also interested in healthy eating, which is why most of them would go to the doctor and get a blood test, which then makes it easier to point out a vegan because they've done the blood test. But when I went to the doctor, she said that she had people coming in who weren't vegan or who were carnivores, and they had deficiencies as well. So it's not just a vegan thing with deficiencies, it's a general thing. And for instance, like I said, with vitamin D, they recommend anyone taking vitamin D supplements during the winter months, and especially if you are like me and you spend a lot of time inside doing work or whatever you are doing with your life. So I think that is just a myth, the thing that vegans are deficient. And yes, as I said, some of these nutrients are harder to get, but it's not impossible. And after I got this test, everything was so much easier for me, because I then had some sort of overview of what I had to think about, and I got guidelines to, well, for how I could get those nutrients. So when you just go and take a blood test, it's not really a problem, because then you know, okay, I need to focus on this, I just need to tweak this a bit more, which is natural, I think. I am not going to rant more about this and talk about this. Just a short summary: vitamin D, B12, and then, well, my blood percentage, but that, as they said, that would fix itself quite naturally. So I hope this was useful, and as I said, please just ask your questions down below if you have any. And that is basically it. If you like this video, please make sure to follow my channel, and you can also find me on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook, and yeah, that is it, and I will see you in my next video as well. Bye!